Hey, Robot, we thought we was gonna leave you alone. Man, they sending, they doing all kind of alchemy in the background. Ben Tahuti watching off the balcony laughing at these people, man. Just trying to use my face to do this alchemy. Ankh. Tahuti is Ankh. That's one of his nicknames, Ankh. We in the get him in the building and tell him we back for another cap twister. And YouTube, we're gonna keep it clean, no profanity. Now, the interesting thing is a lot of people kind of already know a lot about this topic if they've been following us, if they follow the master teacher. It's only a few people out here speaking on this subject. Zachariah Stitchin was talking about it. Baba came and brought it to us, the full story in the Holy Tablets. People asking, where can I find the Holy Tablets? The Holy Tablets is in the descriptions of all of our tapes. All you got to do is go click on the descriptions. They're going to say, read the Holy Tablets. You click on it, you can read the Holy Tablets. Right? Now, people out here saying, don't read the Holy Tablets. But for newcomers, you know what I'm saying? The old heads, if you already absorbed the information already, you go to the next level, but it still plays a part in what we got to do. The mission. It's part of the mission to teach the people to get them out of that spell of religion, to break free from Enlil contract. Right? And then some of y'all old heads, you might hear, when you hear this tape, you might hear something that you probably didn't hear or you probably didn't see. Cause I got the Hawkeye, man. We the Hawkeye. You know what I'm saying? We put the Hawkeye on shit, man. So we see with a different eye. I got a different type of lens. I can see shit with and I can focus on stuff. And if I focus on it, I'm on, man, it's a wrap. You know about hawks. If you read the Language of the Birds tape, or if you watch hawks, you know that hawks, when they lock in and they go down and capture their prey or whatever, they very precise. They very they got a clean guy on things. I know. Okay, there go the thumbnail right there. Let's get that saved. We are about to twist caps. YouTube, Young Other Gang, get them in here. We got 56 people. We're about to get switched over to that laptop. Like I say, the Holy Tablets link will be in the descriptions. If you want to get other books, like the new Actual Facts books, we got locations like All Eyes on Egypt Cultural Center at Stone Mountain Plaza in Atlanta, Georgia. They got the books there. You may can order some online, but the prices be, they be crazy. Like you might, some of the stuff you can read free on Scribe. We also, I think the sister Amunette in North Carolina has an All Eyes on Me Cultural Center. And I want to say it's like one or two of them in New York. So we'll be, you know what, I'm going to probably get the locations on those joints. We'll just do a class on that. Just in case you're in that area, you want to visit one of our culture centers, you can visit that, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hey, YouTube, I see y'all flagged us, but we're going to keep it clean, man. We got a new type of way we going now with this. So we keeping it clean. And we're gonna do more of these extracurricular classes because these are the schools that this is my school, you feel me? So the reason why we're doing this class is a lot of newcomers, they coming in like straight out of the Bible or religion, Islam or something, and they saying, man, what's all this anarchy stuff? Like, who is these people? Like, what is this? They never heard of it, right? So for my Sabian brothers and my Nuwapian brothers, And my brothers that been studying with the master teacher, all the brothers that's read the Samaritan doctrine, about with us. Now you might hear a lot of stuff that you didn't hear or that you didn't probably know about the Anunnakis in this tape on as we go along in the tape. Okay, so we got that posted. We're gonna go and switch to that laptop. Yeah, so you might hear a lot of stuff in this tape that you probably didn't hear. Because we got to make that, we got to make the then I'm doing a tape tomorrow, probably on Sunday, on who are the Netaru or who are the Natharu, and the difference between the Anunnakis and the Natharu, because we got to make that connection for you. I was gonna run them together and do like the Anunnaki versus the Natharu, but they told me to do it separate, because really we almost dealing with the same people. It's just a reincarnation that's coming back in. We're dealing with billions of years versus millions of years when we're dealing with the connection. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with us. We're the same family every time. We're the same people. As the Anunnakis, then we come back again as the Natharu, and then now we here now. We're the same people. We reincarnate. You only a download. This body is only a download. Or you download your real you is downloaded into this body. We already broke that down on the Avatar tape, right? So in order to understand as we get started, let me get that chat pulled up, man. Let me get that chat pulled up, man. Rob Body, if you in the building. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. We're gonna start with let's go with a new. We'll start back with this. All right, because a lot of I hear it's only a couple of people out here teaching on this. Like I say, the first person to really come, like Zachariah was Stitching was teaching on it, but Zachariah Stitching is a high priest for a certain Amber Light Illuminati, and his job was to misdirect you on what this is all about. And then Baba came to cleared it up with the holy tablets. Like I said, the holy tablets, you can read them. We're gonna be able to read them for free when we put the descriptions after the show. After Baba, a man by the name of David Icke talks a little bit on it, but he more dealing with the reptilian and Anunnaki side. And then I was talking about it first after that. And then I heard Billy, then I heard of a dude guy named Billy Carson. He was talking about it. And then who else was talking about the Anunnaki? It's only a few people, man, that go on to this. I hear they ask a lot of the other master teachers about it. They don't get into it because they don't really know much about the galactical side of things. It's another brother that's teaching on it right now. My brother, B Dale. Shout out to brother B Dale. You want to go subscribe to B Dale page. A lot of y'all might be already familiar with my brother B Dale. So there's only very few people teaching on this. But I guarantee you, the stuff that we about to say, is gonna make it all clear for you. We're gonna put it together. Because we're dealing with a family situation here. Going all the way back. If you haven't watched the tape, the family journey and how we made it to the galaxy that you're referring to as the Milky Way galaxy. Okay. Now that I got that posted. Hey, if you want to show some love, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, hit that link. Right? Check with us every day, man. We posted something every day, man. We're trying to get something every day. Like I say, we've been slowed up here because we're trying to get all the little websites bumping. And now that we got those jumping, we coming for you, man. Man, I supposed to have been coming on today. Every time I say I'm gonna come on, it's always, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna drop it. I ain't gonna say when I'm gonna do it, but I know I'm gonna try to do one every day though. You know what I'm saying?
So if you're new to the channel, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, man. We're about to crack heads and twist caps. We're gonna get that ball clap disclaimer right now. While we got 144 people in here, we're gonna get that ball clap disclaimer. Now, before, because people, I'm gonna answer a lot of questions because I got the questions that people were asking, all the questions. So I'm gonna break all those questions down to where we get down to the point where you can understand where we at now, where we taking in lieu of court. And several other indictments are gonna be served. So you get an indictment when you go into criminal court. See, they got traffic court labeled as criminal court, but you don't get an indictment. So that's illegal. That's fraudulent. That's fraudulent. So we had to serve before Enlil get in. He got the right to face his accuser. So we put him up for the grand jury, getting an indictment for committing galactical crimes. Right? So that's what that was about. But we're gonna work our way up to that point, but we got to take you back to how it all started. Now, the farthest that I could take you back is to Ashaw's father, whose name was Sal, who was the seven Anu, before the explosion took place. We had 3 suns and 19 planets in this huge planets in this one bubble, and then one of the suns exploding, so we had to venture out. And when we that started this with that Big Bang theory thing that they talking about, right? And you're talking about on a microscopic level, boom, right? It's mitochondrial DNA, pure light beings, pure etherical beings, right? The non-ethern gas beings. Baba referred to it, he break it down in the first beginning of the Holy Tablets, talking about the dot. When you go into the dot, right? The dot in the Big Bang. I put a tape out about it. I still got that tape, and I'm gonna load that tape up to Patreon, right? So hey, be in tune for that. Patreon is gonna be going crazy. You better get up over there, man. We're gonna have that in the links. Right. So if you're already over there, just get ready. You have to take off over there. I can say whatever over there, but on here we gotta keep it clean. So that took place. Boom, we left. The first galaxy that I can recall, based on the storyline, was a galaxy called Dietrich. Sal had 3 sons. One of the sons was Ashtar. He had another son, 2 other sons. Those sons, when the Big Bang happened, we went to the galaxy called Dietrich, which is about 6 to 7 times bigger than your galaxy, the galaxy that we live in now, the Milky Way galaxy. Who the heck is this trying to call me, man? It's about 7 times bigger than your Milky Way galaxy. So the 3 brothers, they went there first. And a dispute later, we lived there for a while, and then a dispute broke out. At this time, there was a dispute between who was going to be the next ruler or the next leader of the family after that bang. And so Anshar became the ruler, but the other brothers was in satisfaction. So 2 of the brothers decided to leave and go their own ways in the universe. One of the brothers went west. That was Anshar's other brother. He took his family west. So we got a family, whole nother family connected with Anshar on the whole other side of the universe through his brother, and through the other brother, the little brother that stayed in Dietrich and became the Most High of that particular area, because it's more than one Most High, right? It's actually thousands, if not millions, of Most Highs. But we're gonna break all that down, okay? So one of the brothers went west, the other brother went east. And the brother that went east was Anshar. He took his family east. And the other brother took his family west. And the little brother stayed in Dietrich and ruled. So we got family going back 36 billion light years to the east. Actually, we can get to Dietrich pretty fast with the technology that we got if we wanted to go there. let me just make a reference of the distance for all my newcomers. All right, a light year is rounded up to 6 trillion miles. All right, so like I was asking people a question today to see how smart people was. I was asking them, what's the closest star? What's the closest star to Earth? And people were saying, "Oh, Orion, hey, niggas thought they were smart. Centauri, because that's one of the Centauri 4.2 light years. But nobody ever said the sun. The sun is the closest star to Earth. Man, come on, man. These people, you know what I'm saying? The sun is the closest star to Earth. Everybody said 25,000 other stars other than their own damn star. The closest star to Earth, man. Come on, man. People, they're slow. That was a test to see where people hit levels at on far as what the galactic information. They still religious, man. You know, right? What's the closest star to Earth? The sun. My nigga, come on, man. All right, so going back to when the split happened, Anshaw and his family left. Anu was already born, and he got an older sister named Mother Huber. He got three. It's more than it's a lot. He had about 60 to 70 kids, just like Anu got a lot of kids. But the main kids were Anu, Alelu, and the other brother Lamu, the little brother, and then it was Mother Huber. Mother Huber was the chief scientist to Anshaw. I think we got a picture of her in here too. Because I hear when people talk about the Anunnakis, they don't talk about Mother. A lot of people don't talk about Mother Huber. Baba was the first one that pointed it out. That Mother Huber was the chief scientist to Anshaw, the eighth Anu. They don't ever point Mother Huber out. Look at her eyebrows. I'm telling you. Look at her eyes. She the mother, the creator of the reptilians and the insects. She created the insects and the reptilians. Right? She the mother of the reptilians, Mother Huber. This is Anu's older sister. And if you look at her avatar, you can see that she took her avatar's got Vulcan in it. Her avatar's got Vulcan mix. You can look at the eyebrows because she's the mother, the godmother. They call her these reptilians call her the godmother Huber. And these Dragonian reptilians, she's the mother of these Dragonian reptilians. She created them. She called them as her babies. And I seen her one time, and she was riding around in a Cadillac, an old 73 model Cadillac. It had 2 Komodo dragons with her. And they were like riding and hanging out the window like dogs. I'm telling you, man. But they never talk about Mother Huber. These people that talk about the Anunnakis, which is Anu's older sister. You can look at her avatar though and tell it's got Vulcan. Her avatar took a Vulcan avatar. But we'll come back to her later. But what happens is when we left there, we landed in a gap. It was like we was looking for space. If there was no such thing as space, we were looking for land or a place to set up. And the first place we came in contact with, because keep in mind, we not the only beings. We're not the first. Everybody was created almost simultaneously. All the spiritual, everything in the universe was created almost simultaneously at one time. So it's other beings before, when we was coming up, it's other beings and other galaxies at the same time as us that was developing. When we left Detroit, we went to a galaxy called the ID galaxy. In this ID galaxy, we came in contact with a evoluted species, a light being species that would, and keep in mind, what physical is and what the dimensions is all about, because the first 3 dimensions is height, width, and length. That's what people are denoting as physical. but it's really what physical really is electromagnetic frequency. And your brain determines what's physical. Your mind determines what's physical. So if you seeing it in your mind, that makes it physical. So when you dream it, it's physical as well. The fourth dimension is a combination of the first three dimensions being added up to create the fourth dimension. So the fourth dimension is physical as well. So is the fifth, and so on and so on. All the dimensions are physical. If you want to classify height within link, because there's height within link in your dreams. There's height within link in the fifth dimension. Fifth dimension is what time begins to slow down. The sixth dimension, once you get past 888 terahertz, is what time is supposedly cut off, which is at 6 trillion miles. 6 trillion miles. Well, really, it's at 182,000. You know what I'm saying? And 800 or 272 per second, right? Because people say, "Oh, it's now time is an illusion." Yeah, time is only exists because of the light. Light only makes up 1% of the universe. So time only exists in a state of 1% of the universe, but there's different measures of time depending on distance, how many suns you got, and we can go into that, right? So when we got there, we ran into these beings who were developing avatars, a certain type of avatar, but it wasn't like the ones we had already developed. Developed the avatars already. We didn't look like this before we came here. We created these avatars once we got to the Milky Way galaxy in order to survive on and do certain things in the third dimensional frequency. So in the fifth, all the way up to the fifth, we got physical bodies. Once we start going to the sixth dimension, that's when we get our light body. And then once we go up into the seventh dimension, that's when we go into thought, pure thought. And then the eighth and ninth go into the non-ether, pure gas, etherical beings. But so before we look different before we came here, it just depended on what galaxy we was in, what type of planet we was going on to. Most of these bodies were engineered based on to look like Earth beings, to be like look like Earth beings, so that we wouldn't spook you out necessarily, or so that we wouldn't, because in our light body forms, you know, it's like it's different. We'll get down and breaking that down too, but let me just break the story down. Okay, so we went to Ida. We ran into these beings who were humanoid beings, blue-looking spiritual beings, who had overlook like they looked like the beings on the Fifth Element, that being that was singing the opera. It looked like that beings. They had greenish blue skin, but they were suffering from a disease because they was already working on the ascension to try to get back to that point that we was at, that we started at before the bang happened. So we had to work our way back up. That's why we was developing the technology. Once the bang happened, we got knocked. That's when the dimensions formed, when we got knocked down to the third dimension or to the fifth dimension, right? And so when we ran into these beings in the Ida galaxy, they was already developing the technology to try to ascend. But because they was doing it, they had created defects in their genetics, they light body genetics. And so when we came, we gave them the missing formula that they were missing, like the piece that they were missing. And we combined our experiment together, and then we started developing the ascension stuff, but we didn't get it completely done then. We didn't finish it till we was to after Riz got blew up. But we'll get into that too. But so we was on in Dietrich developing this technology. But so we didn't have time. Their galaxy was already overpopulated with their people. So we only had a small window for our people. So we couldn't really populate like we wanted in that galaxy in Ida. So we had to go to a new place. So it was like we were staying on a reservation or a place until we can move to the next galaxy. And so while we was there, we helped these people out of that galaxy, our family. The risk, we weren't called Riskians then. One name we was probably could be called is the ancients, the ancient people, right? The ancients, because we go back a long time, billions, trillions of years, right? So what we did is we helped develop them a body, like a clone type body, which looked like the Greys. The Greys you see with the knot, with the hump on their head. These Asgards, they talk about them in the Stargate movie. We helped them develop a body so they can preserve their light body, right, into the fifth dimension. And so that's when you see they got the gray cause. So that's before we started the project for the Greys, for the Ramadians on Mars. We had already started developing certain type of robotic bodies, avatars for other species to drive down into the fifth dimension. And so we developed that. We was there a couple billions of years, and we was working side by side with these people, and they loved us. They became our long-term friends, these Asgardians, who really are the oldest species of what you would term as the Greys, before the Ramadians was even designed. Right, the Ramadians only a couple billion years old, versus the you talking about over hundreds of billions of years old. We're talking about the Asgards. They actually that body that you see is just a suit. The real light beings, they drive those bodies, right? They drive those bodies. They use them in the fifth dimension to move around. And we'll get to the questions at the end of this, man. If you got any questions, but we're gonna just hit that like button. We got 194 people. Everybody hit the like button. So over time, we had to move because we started to populate. So we sent people out, seek what we call seekers, to look for other land or other what you call space, which we know is no such thing as space, right? But we sent these people out to look for other areas, and one of the areas they found that wasn't populated, but it was a smaller galaxy that's smaller than the Milky Way, called Pegasus, the Pegasus galaxy. So we migrate. Once we found that galaxy, they say, "Oh, we can go here. We can set up and set up planets, build us our own planet." Although the ships that we had built. The ships that we had built, the huge mothership Nubaru, we had designed Nubarus way back before the explosion took place. So we was already designing those type huge planetary ships, and that's what we was living on at the time. And so just like Nubaru, right? And keep in mind how big it is, like 9 times bigger than Earth, right? So we ended up going to the Pegasus. When we got to the Pegasus, we began setting up. Okay, we start setting up, and then so once we got set up, we got a little comfortable there, and then so they started a competition to create a new creature. Before the birds were created, the insects were the first one of the first species that were created, besides the beings that was already coming into play. The insects, the spirits already existed, but the cause, the way they look, they didn't come into play until we got to the Pegasus galaxy. And so Anshaw called for a competition between the scientists, and Mother Hubert, his daughter, was the chief scientist, and her and several other scientists competed. A lot of them were women. Most of the scientists in the galactics are women. They're the best scientists. And down on Earth, the best scientists are Nubian women. I'm telling you. The scientists that's creating all the vaccines and all that, most of them are Nubian women behind the scene. Right? So as a Nubian, that's why the Most Highs always take women as their chief scientists. So Mother Hubert was a chief scientist to her dad, just like Mother Ninti, right? Let me show you Mother Ninti. Mother Ninti is a chief scientist to her dad, Anu. right? The great scientists. See, you got sisters out here that look. I saw a sister at the Life Wave thing. They look just like this sister. Look just like Mother Ninty. So they started a competition, and they created the new a six-wing insect called a dragonfly. See, the dragons, reptilians, this is where they beginning. Mother Huber created the first dragonfly. Dragonfly is one of the is the oldest insect. You ain't gonna find no insect older than dragonfly. I'm telling you. The billions. The dragonfly is billions, 100, maybe even 100, maybe at least the hundreds of billions of years old. A dragonfly. That we created them in Detroit, in Pegasus. And then from the dragonfly, when the mothers Huber won that competition, from that competition, several other species were drafted, like the bees, and secretly other disagreeables. Because when you create a thing in alchemy, simultaneously you create the opposite of that thing in order for it to have a balance. So some of the negative or neutral. See, like some of the insects are disagreeables, or cherubins, like mosquitoes. They drink blood. They go around, they drink blood of people. Killer bees, some killer bees. Most of them, some of them are neutral beings. Most bees are neutrals. They don't attack you unless you bothering them, you giving off a certain type of scent that they attracted to, and they attack you. But it's several disagreeable, like the bullet ant, a walk, the bullet ant, you get caught in his path, he'll crawl right up all up in your leg, crawl right to the crack of your behind. He'll be real smooth about it. Crawl right up into the crack of your behind. And then as soon as he get right down in the middle, he lean back and then bite right down into the crack part. And next thing you know, you going and reaching, trying to get him out. Bullet ant is a tricky dude, man. Them jokers be big too. You don't want no bullet ant to bite you down in the crack of your behind. I'm telling you. But a lot of these insects came about due to the competition. And now what we didn't calculate, and keep in mind, we don't know Anunnakis don't know everything. They are billions of years old and millions of years ahead of you humans in technology, but they don't know every single thing. They might know way more than you can ask. If you like, way more than you could comprehend to ask them. They probably can answer any question you got, but it may be they don't know everything in the universe, right? They're not all places at all times unless they're using their technology, right? Unless they're using their technology. We're gonna get down to that. But okay, so what happens is these insects, once they start creating, you got over probably like about 2 million species by now of different insects. And I think it's over about 900 species of because the reason why it's 900 different species, about 900 species on your planet, make close to 1 million, is because your planet is a library. It's a DNA library. It's called Project Blue Rock. What we brought out when everything was getting attacked and shit was getting destroyed, we had to preserve a lot of species. So we brought them to Earth in order to preserve the DNA. So that now when we want to repopulate repopulate the galaxy after the war, all we gotta do is come to Earth and pull DNA from from the different species. This is one of the only planets they got so many different species. A lot of planets only got 1 or 2 species. They may have the superior race, which might be a humanoid type or some kind of reptilian, whatever type, humanoid type. And then they might have a pet species and a servant species. So it'd be like 3 species on a planet, but your planet is heavily protected. Earth is one of the most protected planets on this side of the galaxy because it's a data bank for a lot of different families and different species in this Milky Way after the war took place. So we'll get down to that too. But what happens is all these different species of insects, they begin to multiply real fast. Insects multiply in tropical climate. These insects begin to multiply extremely fast, and they begin to take over Pegasus, right? So at first, as we saw the insect rate growing, we had to create a countermeasure to countermeasure these insects, right? And so what we did is another elder came out with a bright idea. One of the other scientists, other than Mother Hoover, said that we ought to create another being that would consume the insect beings. And so we created from the insects, we drafted and mixed some a couple other species that we had collected on the way to Pegasus, and we created the bird beings from the insects. That's how the birds get the wings from insects, from the dragonflies. All right, so, and the birds lay eggs, plus dragonflies lay eggs. Understand the connection. Insects lay eggs, birds lay eggs, reptilians lay eggs. We're gonna lead you up to but mammals don't lay eggs. They actually hatch inside of the womb. They call it their water broke, right? So mammals are different from reptilians, but birds, insects, and reptilians all lay eggs. That's the connection. I'm gonna bring it in because I heard people say, oh no, these birds come from the reptilians. No, it goes like this: insects, birds, reptilians. I'm gonna break it down for you. The reptilians come from the birds. And then it was a lot of crossbreeding back into the reptilians crossbred back into the birds. Then they crossbred with humans. Well, we're gonna get into that. That was a lot of that was part of Mother Hoover's plan to do this. Mother Hoover is a Moor. She'd be classified. Well, I can't necessarily say she'll be classified as a Moor because she didn't land in Ur Chaldea. But she's what they look like, what these dirty Moors would look like, how she looked. They look like her, same hair texture, everything. I'm gonna tell you. And look at the fez on her head. You see what I'm saying? Tara Bush's head, you know what I'm saying? So we created the bird race. The bird race is supposed to counteract the insect race. Now, if you want to know what's going on, like we told you 1,000 times before, just pay close attention to nature and you'll see. Watch the food chain. Look at the food chain in Mother Nature. Look at what controls what. So the birds were created after the insects to control the insects. The birds were created to control the insects. So why you think birds, bats, these type of creatures, these flying creatures go out to eat insects? Okay. That's what I said. Birds before reptilians. That's what I said. Truth. The birds, the reptilians come from the birds. The insects, the birds come from the insects. The insects are the oldest creatures. It's insects that live in the middle of the ocean. Birds can't live in the middle of the ocean. If you ever, I done drove, well, I rode a cruise boat across the ocean and we saw insects in the middle of the ocean. They live in the ocean. So insects are older. At one point, this planet was made in the water. It was covered with mostly water. So birds couldn't be here. Insects could live here on water. It's insects that live on water, right? I'm telling you, man, just look at the insects that live on water, like little white things. They be floating on the water. You see little fish jump up to eat them. Yeah, so they start overpopulating. We created the birds to countermeasure. The reptilians wasn't created till we got to the Milky Way galaxy. So by this time, when we go at the birds were keeping control over the insect population, because we really didn't have the next closest galaxies were quite a far distance. And so we needed supplies to make that jump. So we had to sit there and generate more supplies. We actually stayed in Pegasus galaxy probably about in between 20 to 70 billion years, galactic time, which is quite a long time. But the bird beings wasn't enough to counteract these insect beings. They weren't enough to where eventually we just gave up on it on Pegasus, and we started a new mission to go out and find another galaxy, and we was gonna let the insects just have the Pegasus. So Anu, the Anu then, because keep in mind, Anu is not the name, Anu is a title, which a title of the president of the Most High. It's like Cat President. The time Anshaw, which is Mother Huber's father, and Anu's father, Elalu's father, he called for another competition, and secretly he was exhausted and ready to step down. So he was ready. He wanted to pass this staff to the next leader of the family. So he had 3 sons. Right, he didn't look at Mother Huber for competition. He actually didn't even tell them that it was going to be a competition. He just sent the 3 sons out and told them he wanted each of them to go a separate way and come back and give us a report on what they find. So Anu and his crew, Alelu and his crew, Lamu and his crew, they all went out and started searching for galaxies. Right, secretly, Anshaw, the one that they came back with the best plan, was going to be the best of the planners, and he was going to get the staff secretly. So to make a long story short, because he wanted to leave the Pegasus, so they all came back, and they discovered different galaxies. Like one said I found a galaxy, and we later called that, they refer to that galaxy as the Pinwheel Galaxy. And then one found one was a triangle. Alelu tried to outdo it. He said, I found 2 of them. I found the Black Eye, and I found another galaxy called a Triangle Galaxy. Now, they wasn't calling them that then, but that's what we know them as now, the Triangle Galaxy and the Black Eye Galaxy. And Anu came back with the idea of the Milky Way, the galaxy that we live in now, the Milky Way Galaxy. We talk about this in the family journey to the Milky Way. So secretly, to make a long story short, he ended up winning. Anu ended up winning. This made the little brother wasn't jealous. He was proud of his because he wanted Anu to win anyway. He didn't really want it. And Alelu, he was jealous. He think that Anu cheated, or that they favored Anu over him. That started a beef between the 2 brothers before Inky and Enlil was even born. Before Inky and Enlil was even born, they started a beef between the 2 brothers. So we ended up packing all our shit and we came to this galaxy. At that time, we had developed another ship, several other types of ships. We had already had the Nubaru type ships, but we had developed another ship, which you refer to now, the snowflake type ships, which was laboratories where we preserved different DNA on, called Atlantis. Atlantis was not just a big old island or a continent in the Atlantic Ocean. It actually was a ship. The power source was a ship that we designed. That's about the size of Manhattan. And they made movies about it, Stargate movies about it, because they know we the gate builders. That's another name that they refer to us as, the gate builders. All right, we're gonna bring it all the way down to how your Bible play out to the Anunnakis is the gods or the Elohim in your Bible. For all my Christian people that's listening. Hey, Rob, out to everybody in the building, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Right? Right in the building, hit that bell. So we packed all of our stuff up And we're keeping it clean, YouTube, no cursing, man. So if you're in the building, you know what I'm saying? Keeping it clean. So we left there, went to the Milky Way. Boom, we got here. He became Raziel the first, became the Anu. He was crowned the Anu. There was a whole bunch of stuff, talk under the breath. Oh, how did he do? You know, this and that. But then we left here. We came, the first place we landed, it was several stars here already, natural stars. But one of the first stars we landed, your star is one of the is an artificial star. Your star is an artificial star. It was put there. We actually created your star. It's a natural, it's about a natural occurrence of hydrogen and helium, but we actually put that there. It's other stars that natural stars that naturally occur when the bang happened. Right? When the bang happened. From what they call hydrogen ions exploding. Okay. So he landed in the Centaurian star system on a planet that was already developed in this galaxy. Keep in mind, all the stars you see now wasn't here. They tell you new stars are born every day. When you see it, look up and see a blue star, that star is a new star. Yellow stars are older, like teenage stars. Red stars are adult stars that get ready at the end of their life. That's the phases of the suns. We come to the Milky Way, boom. Set up on a planet, which we named after our original home galaxy, the first one we came to after the bang, called Ditra. We set up there, and then we started, by this time we had developed technology, so we started developing planets and star systems and using some of the elements that had spread it out from the bang. Start developing these systems. And then, so we built the home, we built Saturn. Well, Saturn was kind of like it developed on its own. There was 4 planets, 4 huge planets in this solar system that developed on their own from after we designed that star. Those 4 planets were Tiamat, Jupiter, Saturn, and there was a Meldick. There was the 4 planets that was in this solar system. It was only 4 here at the time. So we taking over Saturn and making it our home at first when we came here. So we lived on, and this is our home. We actually call this our first home away from home solar system. And I have reason to believe we had 3 suns at one time, and I think it is still 3 suns. These other 2 suns are just on a much wider rotation to where we don't notice it, and it's getting ready to come. One of the suns is headed this way, right? Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. But we're building up to this. We set up on and then keep in mind it was not very much life here, but it was some life here in this galaxy already, but it wasn't much. It was most of the life was just developing. Like as far as on a microcosmic level, from the Big Bang, from all of the different things that happened from the bang. We set up there, Anshaw had a business that we was already doing where we were molding planets, right? So we started building more planets, building more star systems. Okay. And then but somebody was jealous, and I think it was Mother Hoover. Mother Hoover, once I knew we was in this and we was doing good, Mother Hoover got jealous. And Enlil was already, kind of like, hey man, so the 2 brothers and the sister got jealous. So secretly, Mother Hoover unleashed these insects in this solar system, which we had hoped had left. We brought the DNA with us, but we had left most of the species back in the Pegasus. So somebody, and I believe it was Mother Hoover, released this species in this galaxy. some of them even went back and helped the insects develop technology so they can travel from galaxy to galaxy. And a lot of the insects, once they got populated and became more intelligent, a lot of them migrated to the Andromedans galaxy. A lot of y'all heard of the Andromedans galaxy, right? Where the big ant predator beings come from. So they started populating here. We put the birds on them. But the birds couldn't control them. So Mother Huber, we said we got to come up with an animal or insect or some type of creature that's more aggressive than the birds. They're more aggressive and they'll be more malevolent, and they'll actually be able to control these insects more. So Mother Huber said, "Oh, I can create the insect." At this time, Minty, Mother Huber still was chief scientist, but she knew that Anu was gonna get ready to replace her when Mother Ninty came. Right, this is Anu's mother right here. This is Anu's father, Anshaw. Right. So she got the bright idea, oh, I can create these frog beings, and these frog beings will eat the reptile, they'll eat the insects, and they'll control them. So if you notice about frogs on your planet, they eat insects. They got the long tongue, they come out and they snatch them back in. These reptilians eat insects, right? So she created these beings, the first species of them, and they planted the species on Meldick so they can evolve under the water. And these right here, they use some of the Ansars or the Asgard cloning DNA that they was using. They used some of that DNA to make these beings. That's why these beings look like the Asgards, because the original Asgard's shell was 7 foot tall. And then they started making smaller beings before the Greys. Now the new Greys, the Ramadians and the marker beings, they DNA were taken from these beings, but these beings DNA were taken from the Asgard DNA and from the bird beings. So the bird beings, because you look at them, they got the bird feet. Look at the feet. They got bird feet, web, bird hands, pretty much just like wings. This is like wings. If they take them over the whole body, if they grow the whole body, it'll be wings. The Dragonians, right? So they got they hands from the bird, like their DNA is like from the birds. And these Asgard cloning procedures. And so Mother Huber created these type of reptilians that live underwater. These beings later on came to live on the Bermuda Triangle down the line. So these were the first types, and they were we created a warrior type so they can fight against the insects. And so for a while, they started controlling the insects. And Mother Huber was boasting and bragging, like, why is Anu the most high when I are the ones that saved y'all ass? I'm the one who created the insects. Created the reptilians, or these Tridacondites, the first species of them, to counteract the insects. I should be the most high. I'm the most brilliant. I'm the real brains here behind this thing. And that's what started a new type of competition for the most high. At first, it was just passed down from generation to generation to one of the sons. But that once Mother Huber started complaining about I'm the most brilliant and this and that, Anu said, all right, well, let's have a competition, and whoever the smartest is the one that wins the most high. So that's when it started, that first competition between the brothers, and Mother Huber even completed, right? But the judges didn't favor her. They favored Anu. They didn't favor Alelu. So that went on, and she was roasting and bragging about that. And my babies, my reptilian, my babies are controlling these insects. Then once they didn't want to hear her out, she said, I'm gonna go in the lab. Every time they would make her mad, she would go back in the lab and use her anger as fuel to create a more aggressive reptilians, more sharper teeth, more disagreeable reptilians. And she would even take poison. Eventually she would crossbreed some plants, poisonous plants, and crossbreed their DNA into these reptilians. And now she got poisonous reptilians, Leviathan, vine, long dragon looking reptilians. Because the dragons, the ones you see that go through the air like they be doing in China, those actually mix with plants. They actually mix with poison ivy and things of that nature. The plant race, some of their DNA is used in the poisonous snakes got plant DNA that Mother Hubbard did in the laboratory on Atlantis. On Atlantis. Mother Hubbard actually was the chief scientist on Atlantis. She was actually captain of Atlantis. Mother Hubbard, the chief scientist on that laboratory. That's why they show you in the movie, in the Stargate movie, they show you this woman that's the chief scientist on the laboratory. And they got her, she looked just like Mother Hubbard, except they made her to a lighter. Right? Okay. So that poisonous part, that made these Leviathan type serpent creatures that then they was under the water. So that went on for a while till now. Mother Hubbard said these beings were so dangerous and so militant. She was like, oh yeah, I can use these people to have my own. I got my own military and I can overthrow these new. I can overthrow a new because I'm the one, I got the most powerful military. So initially secretly a war began breaking out. But by this time, she had already had her air, the ground, and the water military, the air, ground, and water military reptilians, because she had crossbred the certain reptilians back in, these ones that's poisonous, some of them back in with bird race, and they developed wings. And they became known as the Dragonians. Then some of the original Dragonians didn't have wings, but these new Dragonians, so some of them don't got wings, some of them do. The ones that got wings are the air military, the Air Force, the military. They can fly. So she made the wings for them, and they so that made the ones that can fly, like the bat looking type ones, right? The Batmans, you know what I'm saying? And then so that went on for a while. She was to start attacking the Anunnaki camps with these reptilians secretly. And so they was like, oh, these reptilians are attacking. You know, I don't know where they turned against us, but secretly Mother Hubbard had that whole plan. Now, she wanted these beings to invade the home planet that we was living on at the time, Saturn. But they couldn't invade because of the way they looked. They didn't look like us. So in order for them to invade, she came out with a plan to say, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the avatar DNA that we using from the Hindus, and I'm gonna mix these Hindus with these new Dragonians. I'm gonna make my whole new species. They're gonna look like us, but they really gonna be my secret, my military. And so they can infiltrate Saturn and they can infiltrate Risk. Later on down the line, they're gonna be able to infiltrate Riz because they look like them, but they ain't them. They look like them, but they really Dragonians. They Dragonians that look like us. That's what Rod Hayes was telling you. They go all the way back to Mother Hubbard. Look at her fizz, the dirty Moors. You know what I'm telling you. All right, so this goes all the way back, man. So where we at? So Mother Hubbard mixes the Hindu avatar DNA to avatar, get these beings a new type of avatar so they can look human, but they really Dragonian spirits. And then they go and attack Saturn, to where we had to evacuate Saturn and quarantine it. They come to Ridge, they attacked it. Secretly, Mother Hubbard is their mother. That's why most reptilian clans, the queen is the leader. The queen is the leader of the reptilians, right? And in some of the clans, the albino serpent becomes the leader because they different from everybody else, right? So just you follow the food chain, you can see the creation of the order. Now, these bird beings were fighting against some of these reptilian beings that were disagreeable. That's why, you know, as hawks and eagles, they eat reptilians, the smaller gang, like snakes, frogs, some serpents, some other serpents eat other serpents, like snakes eat frogs. Snakes eat rabbits. So you start looking at that food chain, you're starting to break that down and see what was happening, right? So after she got control of the insect, she just pretty much took control over the reptilian. They started attacking us, right? Now, when they attack, now I'm leading up to the point to where because most of y'all already know a lot of the story. I'm just leading up to the point now to where we get down to where the Bible take place, right? Because these beings are the Elohim, the gods, the Yahwehs of your Bible. Mother Hubert will be classified as a Yahweh. Enlil, Enki, Murdoch are all Yahwehs. Even Sananda will be classified as a Yahweh. If you know, he had a title Yahweh being Yahweh, right? The title like that, right? Shout out the brother Yahweh being Yahweh, man. One of our guys that was putting in that work for the Hebrew clan, right? I listened to a lot of, when I heard Yahweh being Yahweh, I knew he's somebody, you know what I'm saying? Because the way he talked, you know what I'm saying? Even though he was teaching religion, I know my people's spirit. I know the people that come to lift the energy. I can hear their voice. So I knew Yahweh being Yahweh is one of them. Is why Baba got him in that picture with the other 12 that he got, the other 11. Right? So shout out Yahweh being Yahweh, man. Here we go. What were we gonna say? So that's when the war broke out in heaven. The Dragonians versus us. To make a long story short, that's what we lead up to this point. Now, when they blew the hole in our ozone layer on risk, we had to get gold. That lead us up to coming here. That brings us down to Genesis chapter 1 or 2, where they go into getting the gold. The gold is good, right? And I sped past the part where Enki and Enlil was born. Enki was born before Enlil. Enki is Anu's son that was born by way of a treaty that was made between him and the Dragonian people that were now living on Tiamat. Enki's mother and them were Dragonian humanoid beings because they were Dragonians who had already began the process of mixing with these Hindus. And so his mother looked more like Anu them, so they'll feel more comfortable to mix. And more than Enki wasn't the only Anunnaki that was born amongst the Dragonian mixing in. It was a lot of y'all are children of these Anunnakis and Dragonians, right? So Enki was like one of the first of his kind, which was an Anunnaki mixed with Dragonians. But Enlil was coming down. Every time Enlil would come down, he would bring Anunnakis with him. These Anunnakis are coming down from this family that I told you about, from Anshaw's family. Now, keep in mind, there's more than Anunnaki is a loosely term. It can be over thousands of species classified of what is Anunnaki. But we just talking in reference to our particular family, who was the ones that was doing all the scientists and work and evolution and stuff. So, but it was reptilians, it was bird beings, insect beings, it was different species, like water beings. It was other types of beings that was part of these Anunnakis by this time, right? So that's when you get to the point where Enlil, where Inky and them talking about the gold. The gold is good in this land right here, right? Which is our land, Sabian land. Now you know why we beefing with the Anunnakis, because by right, the minimal rights to this land is ours, by galactical law. And they just came, they made a deal with some of our people at first, but then once we found out they was doing what they was doing with the gold and how they was stealing our children, they were still some of them were stealing our children to be eaten by these selling them to the reptilians. And it really was a Lelu now. It wasn't Inky, and it wasn't Enlil wasn't really selling children. It was a Lelu who was the Anunnaki that was selling children. And that's when we found out that these Anunnakis was selling our children and kidnapping them. That's when we said we don't want to do no more business with y'all, and we cut them off. And we blame Enlil, we blame what Lelu was doing on all of them. Everybody. We blamed everybody. We said we don't want to do business with y'all no more because y'all it's kidnapping our children and selling them to the reptilians. We found it out later, right? That was what the beef was with the Sabians and the Anunnakis. We're gonna get into that part too on another tape called "Why We Beefing with the Anunnakis," right? While we, the Natharu family is, which we the same family really. When you go down to the Netharu gods, I'm gonna break that down on the tape probably tomorrow or the next day. It's gonna be called "Who Are the Netharu," right? Or the Natharu, because we got knocked down too. The Anunnakis got shut down here. Anu shut them down, and then we got shut down too because we were doing wrong as the Netharu. Because Ra got us shut down. Ra was one of them, him and Satuk. He got us the galactic band, the council banned us from this planet. Actually, some of us got sent here as prisoners. Some of y'all are these Netharu gods who came here, who was running the planet, and then you flunked out because you ruled in jest. You were treating humans like just like Enlil was doing. Ra has got the same that Ra is just like Enlil. He got the same type of feel, because extraterrestrials don't have the same emotions as you do. They can watch a human get chopped up and eat. It ain't gonna bother them. They can see you get shot. It ain't gonna bother them. Like when you see somebody get hurt or in pain or that's close to you, it affects you. You get all like emotional. My wife said that. My wife hate that about me. She said, you're not human. You're not, your emotions not, you don't get affected like by sad things a lot. You know what I'm saying? You don't get like, you can see somebody get shot and like you will still be calm and cool, and you won't be like hysteric like everybody. You too calm, like you not emotional enough. It's like you're not human. She said, I'm not human. I know I'm not human. I'm an extraterrestrial. Some of y'all, there's a lot of my people out there like that now. Not a lot of people, but it's some brothers out here like that where you ain't that emotional like all the rest of the humans. It's because you're extraterrestrial. You're extraterrestrial, man. So I don't get all uptight and shit. You know what I'm saying? But they were stealing our children, man. You know what I'm saying? That's for a long time before we caught on to it. For a long time before we caught on to it. I'm talking about going all the way back to when we first made the deal and they decided to create. But we finally caught up with them when they first started to create the Homo sapien, when Enlil did that upgrade, when Enlil, Inky, and Mother Ninty did that upgrade. Right? So they talk about in Genesis chapter 2. That's where you talk about the gold is good in this land, Sabian country. It was our land that they said the gold was good. So who's supposed to be the richest people on the planet? The Sabians. The Sabians are supposed to be, because your God, you Hebrews God, your extraterrestrial who got billions of light years ahead in technology came to our planet and said that, hey, those Sabians, man, they got that gold they got. That's 24 karat show enough gold, my nigga. We got to go get over in that land, and We got to hustle them out their land. Just like they did, showed you on the Avatar. When them niggas came there, they got avatars of the people on the planet, just like the Anunnakis did. They come down, and this right here later on down the line, right? Because those when they started doing the Sandsman and the Homo erectus project, they didn't look like they look now. The pictures that we showing you of these people, of the Anunnakis, they didn't look like that then. They looked like this later after they started creating the avatars of the people that was on the planet. So I'm trying to break this down as simple as I can, because I may be a time traveler. That's right. You might be, brother. If you had to say it, that means you know what I'm saying. If you had to say it, you know what I'm saying. So we're gonna, man, I'm gonna do a whole nother tape on why we was beefing with these Enlil and all of them. We don't trust Enlil because he knew about Alelu taking our children, but he played like that ain't none of his business. That's that Yahweh's business, not my business. My business is coming to get the gold at first, until they found out how valuable melanin was. Then they started kidnapping our kids and adrenaline chrome. Melanin and adrenaline chrome. Once they started finding out how popular that was, they said, "Oh shit, we got to start." And the reason why they doing us, we like a lower level species. That's why they taking it. We ain't gonna. It's like you going to in the woods and hunting for a deer. That's how they feel about it. How you go into the woods and hunt for a deer or some animal to kill, to eat. That's how they feel about it. So just put yourself in the place of the deer, and put some of these bad Anunnakis in place of a nigga that's hunting deer. You that was hunting the deer. And how would you feel? So now you niggas need to know what you're doing when you're going in out there hunting, man. It ain't the same. It ain't the same type of thing. We don't want to kill nothing no more. We don't want to kill nothing, man. That's that evil. We already, like I said, when these Anunnakis came here, we already said that they were disagreeable. Most of them were disagreeable, and they wasn't going to agree with the ways of our planet. And I'm going back to when we were Draconians on this planet. That side, our Inky side of the family, from his mother's side. We said that these Anunnakis, we didn't really trust them. We didn't really trust them. Because some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them neutral. We don't know which one. It's like Elijah Muhammad said, if you put a whole bunch of snakes in a barrel and you put 2 or 3 poisonous, one poisonous snake in there, would you stick your hand down in the barrel? Nah. Right? Hey, I wouldn't stick my hand down in the barrel if it wasn't no poisonous snake up in that joint. But we stuck our hand down in the barrel and we got bit by a poisonous snake. And we got several Yahwehs, which is the Elohim. Keep in mind, for my Bible readers, the word God in the Bible, in the New Testament, and the first beginning of the Bibles, and pretty much, at least in the Old Testament, translate to Elohim, which is a group of beings. I mean, y'all should know that by now. Most people should know that by now. This was a group of beings, not one God, first of all. And then second of all, it's another word up in there that's called Lord, which is actually a rank. Lord is actually a rank. Like in the military, you have general, you have commanders, you have colonels, you have lieutenants, right? So Lord is a higher rank than God. So that when I say Lord God, that's a being that's over the Elohims. He's like the supervisor on your job. He will be the supervisor over you, will be the Lord over you. Your landlord, if you pay rent, your person that own your land will be the landlord. So Lord God is a being that's over a being that has rank over a group of beings. And it was 200 lords that landed in Ar Chaldea, and they had beings under them. So it was really more than 200, as we pointed out. Okay. And it's gonna probably be several tapes to this copy. We're gonna probably run it as long as we can right now, and then we'll come back with part 2. We'll probably run it as long as we can now. To try to get at least the first half out. So what happens is, from that point, we're speeding up to the Bible point. Now, the God that's in your Bible, who we going after in the beginning, was a Lord God, a being that was over a group of beings who were you can translate the word Elohim into Anunnaki. And then the being that was over them would be like a Yahweh, what you calling Yahweh. Because I asked a lot of these Christians, or I asked Hebrews, I say, what's your God? Well, you say, oh, who your God? You say, oh, my God is Yahweh. Well, Yahweh is not the name. Yahweh is a title. It means a being who graduated, and now this being knows good from bad, and this being is over another group of beings, right? Another group of beings who calling themselves gods, or is it Elohim, which is a plural, which is a group of beings, right? So the God of your Bible, and my wife she don't want to accept it. I say your God is Enlil. She Enlil's daughter. I'm telling you, man, she Enlil's daughter. My wife, she Enlil's daughter, man. Because I'm telling you, I believe Enlil saw her to watch me. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. Because the way she do things. Well, I say Enlil is the Yahweh that y'all talking about, who y'all made a contract with. In order for Enlil to come down here, without these beings are more intelligent, and they know about galactic law. And in galactic law, it states in Article 19, it says that ignorance is no excuse to the law. So it don't matter what Enlil did, ignorance is no excuse. It don't matter if he didn't know the law. He knew it though. So he knew the law. So that's why he made contracts with the humans to cover his ass. People always want to the people that want to be your God, they always want to do a contract with you so they can control you and cover their ass in court. So Enlil wanted to cover his butt. What contract? It's called the covenant. The word covenant means contract, Xavier. The contract is the contract he made with his group of beings, with his people, where he said, he said, I'm gonna make you above all people on the earth, Deuteronomy 7:6. And he goes into 20, I think it's 28, where he breaks it down and says he actually breaks the stipulations of the contract down. Matter of fact, where is matter of fact, let me look. Let me show you. People saying, what contract, right? You don't know what contract? Don't be, Xavier, you're supposed to be more advanced, brother. You must be, it was a contract. It's a covenant that he made with the people. They call it a covenant. Right? It's in, part of this, the contract is really the whole contract is dealing with the Torah. The Torah really is the contract, right? The Torah with the contract with Enlil. But some of the stipulations in the contract where he said he's gonna be able to do what he's gonna want to do to you and torture you and punish you if you don't follow the contract, if you don't honor the contract, that's what I'm getting at. That part where he says, let's see, Deuteronomy 28. It says, and it shall come to pass if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord God. That Lord God is Yahweh Elohim, which is Enlil, the son of Anu, the God that don't know everything, the God that walked in the cool of the day and asked Adam and Eve, right? Who you know as, right? Who told you this? Why why would you do this? Do God gotta ask that? The God that's supposed to know everything gotta ask that? No, because they were sons of God. And they came down, they were doing shit that they weren't going to have no business. But we're going to get into that. But this is part of the contract, the covenant. Right? He says, if you hearken diligent to the voice of thy God, thou observe and to do all the commandments. You can solve it. Hey, so from your perspective, you say it was orders, Xavier. That can be true too. That can be true too. So you say it's orders because it said commandments. Right? So, but these commandments, in order for him to come down and do this to you, he would have to make a contract with you. He couldn't do it by right because it'd be breaking galactic law. He couldn't come down and just force you to do nothing without you agreeing to it, because he'll be breaking galactic law. Higher ascended beings have more, they have more strict rules than lower ascended beings. Higher, because just by him doing what he did and setting up a contract with you, or without setting up a contract with you, he could get cast down from being ascended, just like what happened to us. A lot of y'all here broke galactic law. That's why you here. This is a prison planet as well. This is a prisoner's planet as well. So some of people here are prisoners in their own damn mind. Right? So in order for him not to be breaking galactic law, he had to get you to agree to a contract and the meetings of the minds. And he says, commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God, Enlil, will set thee on above high above all nations. So he promised these people he made a deal with, that he gonna set them above all the nations. Then if you go to 15 in the contract, 28:15, he says, but if thou shalt come to pass, if thou will not hearken unto the voice of Enlil, the Lord thy God, Yahweh Elohim, to observe to do all thy commandments and his statutes, which, and it's not him talking, it's somebody else writing it. It's supposed to be Aaron or Moses, right? Well, Moses really wasn't writing it, because it's really in like third or fourth person. We can get to that too, but I'm just making this parts of the contract. These are parts of the stipulations of the contract. But if thou shalt come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord God, Enlil, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all the curses shall come upon thee. So by you signing a contract with Enlil and not honoring your part of the contract and breaking the covenant, covenant means contract. Go look it up. When you get married, it's not, when you get married and make a covenant, it's a contract. That's why both of y'all got to sign it. Yeah, both of y'all got to put y'all signature on it, and you got to have witnesses. So he had to have witnesses and have a contract signed. So when if they come and say, once we take him to court and say, hey, Enlil was doing this and that and this and that, he gonna say, well, y'all made a deal with us, and we Hebrews or we Sabians did make a deal with Enlil. That's why you see us walking with the Ark of the Covenant and all that. We were the real Israelites. The Sabines or the Afar people are the real Israelites, truly. We are the people of that land that they call in Israel. We are the Palestinians, the Williams, the Harris, the Freemans, the Yorks, the Millers, the Jacksons. We are those people. I'm telling you, man. So if you go on, my Hebrews already know the doctrine. I ain't got to school y'all. Y'all already know it's a contract. It's a covenant with Enlil. It's a deal to be your God. He said, I'll be your God and you will be my people. So it's like me coming to you and you a rapper and I'm a record label. I come to you. I say, hey, I'm gonna make you a son of God. I'm gonna make you a star, a celebrity. All you gotta do is sign this contract and I'm gonna blow you up. So that you sign and then you get blew up and all that sometime, but Enlil didn't honor a lot of parts of his contract. And then the people, he promised them land, they still wandering around. The real people. They still wandering around. They just took it, they wandering around taking everybody else's land. You see what I'm saying? They going around taking everybody else's land. Okay? So let's get back to it. I have to just show you that contract that he made in order to cover his own behind from galactic law. And a lot of these gods, a lot of these extraterrestrials come here, and some of them they don't make a contract with you. They just dog you out or treat you like an animal anyway. But they don't care about breaking galactic law. What they saying is, see, Enlil is smart. He covered his behind by setting up that contract with y'all. But he didn't calculate that, hey, these people are minors. You can't set up contracts with minors. But he's saying that, hey, I didn't set the contract up with minors. I set it up with their people, with the Dragonians. In exchange for me to keep bringing, look, I read his discovery. He said that he set it up in order to keep, because the women of the Dragonian women, they was loving the man, the Anunnaki man that he was bringing down. So they made a deal with him. As long as he keep bringing the man, they'll let the contract keep going. And this is not the contract I'm talking about in the Bible. This is a prior contract that he made with our ancestors, the Dragonians, the people that's from Earth, the people that's Earth beings. See, I'm part Earth being, part Anunnaki, just like Enlil, just like Inky. You know what I'm saying? But the people that he made, that they made a deal that our ancestors sold us out for, you know what? So like you got that mama that put her new man over her children for the D. Well, our ancestors, the women, the reptilian women, sold us out for some D from Anunnakis. And you gotta keep in mind, these Anunnakis, they were like 7 foot tall, and all their body parts were enlarged. you hey, take your mind to a gutter just for a little bit and then snatch it right out. Just keep in mind, everything, all their body parts were overlarge. Their nose, eyes, lips. That's what we get that's where you Nubians get the big lips, big nose, and all that from the Anunnakis mixing in. They had bigger body parts because they have used the avatars. They grow their avatars in the tube, and they will be more larger to suit their essence. Right. And they wanted to appear as giants and gods to us, because we were little people. We were twi. We were sans people. Right? Yeah, we're gonna keep on going, man. We ain't gonna cut it off yet. Because let me see if anybody sent me some donations. I'll shout you out, man. It's for the love, bro. Yeah, man, there's gonna probably be 2 parts to this because it's actually a real detailed story to break all this down of what's happening. But okay. Hey, shout out my brother Mark Cooper, man. I love you, Mark Cooper. You're the only one that hooked me up so far. Appreciate you, brother. Like I say, if you want to show us some love, man, on donations, we drop the Cash App and the links. And we still got those books. Actually, I'm gonna be breaking down on the Netaru class. I already wrote the whole book on it, mostly. It's called the Orion Group. So if you got that Orion Group book, you're gonna be already up to speed on the Netas. And actually, I'm gonna break down the whole 46 dynasties, or in a tape series. So you heard it here first. If you see a nigga stealing it, man, you know they heard me gonna do it first. I'm gonna break down all the way from Norma. I'm gonna break down all the Egyptian gods or the Neters that came here, as far as the extraterrestrial side, and then I'm gonna break down the first dynasty starting from Norma all the way down. I'm gonna break down who was the pharaohs all the way down, each pharaoh, and what were they Twi or were they Felician? Because there was different pharaohs that ruled in different parts. Like Upper, at one point, it might have been a Watusi pharaoh, or some pharaohs were Watusi, some pharaohs were Afar, some pharaohs were Twi, right? So it was different. It wasn't just one species. There were pharaohs. It was more than, even at one point, the Hyksos, the Canaanites came in and they were ruling at one part, and they had a pharaoh named Apapus. So when they showing you Egyptian as Caucasians, that's partially true, because these beings actually, they weren't technically they really are the real Egyptians. The people that they showing you in the movie is actually the real Egyptians, the white people that they showing you. Now that might sound crazy. But listen, I'm gonna explain. You say, "Oh damn, Young Yilla, man, somebody must got a gun to Young Yilla here while you talking right now, because he going to talk. That nigga talking crazy now, right? That nigga talking real crazy." Now I'm gonna explain. The word Egypt, we didn't call ourselves Egyptians. Egyptos meant burnt face, and it was a term that the children were applying to the Hyksos who had came in and they had into our land, and their face would get burnt. So they would say Egyptos, which was like burnt face, making fun of these people. So we're not called Egyptians, really, technically. So let's keep that in mind when I say that the people, when they sell you an Egyptian movie, and they show you Caucasians in there. Those people actually really are the real Egyptians, but they was only in one part of ancient Kemet, and that was in Memphis, and then they took over for a short amount of time before they got chased off by Akhmos and Kakmos now. After they killed their father, after they murdered their father in the temple, the three assassins murdered their father in the temple, and we chased them back out of ancient Kemet all the way back to the caves. We're gonna, hey, we'll talk. We actually got a tape out already called "We Send Trends" where we talk about that, but the tape was chopped up and blurry because they didn't want that information out. But we're gonna do a whole tape on Kakmos and Akhmos, just on them two, on how they chased the Hyksos out. So technically, the Hyksos are the burnt face. We're not the burnt face. We were Nubians that was in that land, and we didn't get the burnt face. We are Tamarayans. We are afar. What Dr. Ben said, because a lot of people, from one perspective, Baba said it came from the dude, afar is from the Arabs coming in saying Afrikia, which means to divide us up. And they did divide us up during the Berlin Compass, right? But then Dr. Ben comes in and says, no, they took that from us, who are the original Israelites called the Afar people. And they say, Afar can. If we can't do it, the Afar can. Afar can, right? That's what Dr. Ben had the way he put it, right? So I draw both perspectives of what, so we can cover everything, so we won't miss nobody, right? So that's true. So we are Tamarayans, or we are Sabines. That's what I like. I like the word. I like Sabines. We got some of my Nuwapian old heads. They still like, on the fence, like, hey man, we didn't do this and that. But hey, we ain't heard Baba say it. Hey, I ain't got to hear Baba say it. I did my own research on it. And found out that I'm direct descendant of a Sabian. So you don't got to be a Sabian. You don't got to say you a Sabian. You can have something against us because you say we worship the sun. But most of the people that saying that, they're using the Islamic perspective. They reading the Quran and they say, oh, you worship the sun. And then we're going to say, yeah, but nigga, you worship the moon though. You worship a moon in the illusion of a sun. Nigga, let's get in. Hey, niggas don't want to step to me on that, man. I'm telling you, it'll be game over. Right? So don't be coming at us Sabians talking about we worship no sun, because we didn't, y'all niggas that's like a shoot or a diss to try to play off like we were sun worshipers. No, nigga, we observe the sun, just like my brother said, we nature observers. So we observe the sun because the sun keep the planet warm. The sun helps send the photosynthesis process to the plants to grow it. The sun, we get our energy and our power and our melanin and our energy and our our power, our rhythm. We get it from the sun. So that's what we were saying about the sun. We wouldn't technically work like, oh, sun, God, all this shit. Nah, nigga, we didn't even believe in God like that, like they doing. Enlil brought all this shit in. Enlil now brought all the God and you gonna go to hell. It's an automatic red flag when somebody come. And YouTube, we keeping it clean, no cursing, man. But it's automatic flag when somebody come and tell you, if you don't do this, you're gonna be punished. That should be an automatic red flag. That's not universal law there, man. You can't force nobody to do nothing if they don't want to do it. That's not universal law. That breaks universal law, actually, especially if you're a higher dimensional being coming down to do it. We went by a tribe. Yeah, we went by tribes, like, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. Go back and watch my Who Are the Sabians tape, my people that's, they're still on the fence. But a lot of Nuwapians, but like I say, a lot of Nuwapians, they're not Sabians. They just Nubians. They're not Sabians. Sabian is a special species. We are royalty. We are the richest people on the planet, spiritually and wealth-wise. Our wealth is right there where they said the gold was good, in our land, homeland. And we also came over here. We were some of the first people over here in America, right? The Fuzzy Wuzzies, the Afar people. We came over here. We sailed over here. We are Moors as well. That's why I use when I say who I am as far as my Sabian side, I say we are Sabine Moors. Because we are, our family all mixed with the people from Oral Chaldea. We are fire beings. from one side of our family. From the Afar people, they mixed in. The Somalians, they mixed in. The Ethiopians are mixed with Hindus. They are Nubans mixed with Hindus. And then Queen Sheba mixed in with the Watusis. And so they was Afar, they mixed in with Watusis, and that created the Sabines. The Sabines are Watusis mixed with Afar. Right? We broke it down on the tape, man. But we don't want to get sidetracked, but I just want to point that out because we beefing. They started to take our land, take our mineral rights without us agreeing to it. And they told us that anytime we was already on the fence about the contract because we didn't trust these people. We didn't trust them. You go back and read the Holy Tablets. Bible explained it right there where he said that the Dragonians didn't trust the original people of the planet, didn't trust didn't feel that they would be, these Anunnakis would be agreeable with our ways. They would be agreeable with our ways. They wouldn't, they would, because some of them were good, like Anu, he wasn't a bad dude. Enlil that nigga crazy, man. Enlil got the craziest personality. That nigga make a bet. I bet you $3. You can't make that nigga fall and break his neck just for amusement. He do some shit like that, man. This nigga crazy. But to sum it up, before we go into the part two, probably another day, because we've been on quite a while. To sum it up, we leading up to. I'm gonna come back and finish the story, but I want to just get this part off since it's ahead just a part one. The Anunnakis are a super race that live on a planet they're rotating our solar system now, called a 12th planet. It's really an actual ship, and bear with me for my Sabian brothers, my Nuwapian brothers that's more advanced. As I already know, we're just doing this for the newcomers because they kept on asking, what's all this Anunnaki? Like, who's Enlil? So Enlil is your God in your Bible. And it's more than one God in your Bible. It's more than one Lord. So every time you see the Lord God, that don't necessarily mean it's Enlil. It could be Enki. It could be Murdoch. It could be another. And you Christians and you religious people, they don't know nothing about this doctrine, the Anunnaki doctrine, the Samaritan doctrine. Y'all refer to these people as angels. Now, the wing effect, even though some of these beings do got wings, like the bird beings and Anunnaki do use detachable, this ring type equipment that they can put. It's kind of like a band that they put around themselves and they got wings on it. And they can use it to fly, kind of like a glider. We showed you that. You know how them people, they get off a cliff and they got this kite, big ass kite looking thing, and they jump off the side of a cliff and they glide. So that's the Anunnakis got that same type of technology, but except they use it for to fly. It actually flies without having to jump off a cliff. Let me show you. And they use it to come down. They use these things to when they in a low area, when they can't land the sham all the way to the ground, because they got to be in a high altitude for them to land without them disrupting the magnetic gravity force field on the planet and on their ship. So that's why when you see the sham there. Now I seen one that was close to the ground, but that was up in the mountains, so they can land close to the ground up in the mountains. But in low areas, they'll come down probably like a certain amount, like miles off the ground. And then they'll jump out with that ring, and then you'll see them flying like a light, like a ball of light. Let me show you what it looked like. Let me show you what it. See this ring, new guy right here around them. This is like detachable, like a certain type of device that actually can make them like the glider, like you know how people be when they jump off a cliff and they glide and they hold like the little arm thing and they glide off the side of a cliff. Well, it's the same shit, but it's more advanced. So they jump off the craft when it ain't in the low area and they fly down with this. This is what Enlil used when he came down in that other tape. When we call Enlil, go check out that tape called Enlil Come Down from Nubaru. And these are real living people. Bob already explained it. These are real living flesh people. They got flesh because you got flesh all the way up into the fifth dimension. Now you got a different, more advanced body in the fifth dimension. And then once you go into the sixth dimension, you got a physical body all the way up into 888 terahertz. Once you get past 888 terahertz, what you perceive as physical is almost, and Lucy explained that too in the last part of the movie of Lucy. But these beings actually created a lot of the avatars you got now. These beings actually created those avatars or stepped in and upgraded those avatars. And Enlil is one of the ones that did it, and he broke galactic law by doing it because they were lazy. They were lazy and didn't want to work the minds to pick their own goal, which they made a contract with us, the people of this planet, and to get the gold, right? But they had to dig it themselves, but they didn't want to dig it. So they said, we're going to create another man to till the ground. That's what your Bible beginning. A man to till the ground, to dig for the gold. So they went on the laboratory on Mars and created the Atom Project. We already put those tapes out. We're just giving you a quick synopsis. Well, we already got a lot of tapes out on this. So go back and watch all the Anunnaki tapes. Watch the series. Go to my page and go to the playlist and look up, go to the playlist and listen to it. You're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the playlist, and you're going to see the Galactic Family of Life tapes. And we got 171 tapes on all extracurricular shit. So you can listen to the tapes right there and you get more information, get the whole story. We got the whole storyline laid out for you already. We're just doing this for the newcomers that just wanted it in one take, like one take, right? Or one tape. What else I wanted to say? So these beings are physical beings, living, breathing beings. They live on a physical planet, a physical big ass huge ship that's in our solar system now. And this planet is up, this solar system is up for judgment and up for what you call evaluation. And they came back now to check and see how far have we developed. They checking on our development, and they're in shock. I had the confirmation last night that they're in shock that I filed charges against Enlil. They said they're at the point to right now where they can file charges against Enlil. They're right at the point to where they're ready to be breaking back into the galaxy, where they were able to take control of their own planet and be their own gods, to where they don't have to have nobody coming to guard them and be their guardian, because God ain't never short for guardian. So they was had to come to be our guardians because they say that we wouldn't advance, so we were minors. We were still wards of the galaxy, as in a ward of the state. We wards of the galaxy, right? Until we come old enough to be able to represent ourselves in the galaxy. Now we're old enough to represent ourselves. So they was in shock. I saw the meeting. I got to sit into a meeting last night, a galactic meeting where they said that Haru, the young elder, have brought charges against Enlil on behalf of the people of Key. They said they're at that point now that they far ahead developed. And thanks to the master teacher, he was a big part in getting us to this point, and several other people. But my master teacher played a big part into getting us to this point where we can file charges, so we can know what's going on. We're not ignorant no more to the fact of that it was beings, high level beings, who have more advanced technology than we got, and they come down here and they use that they got more technology than us as to come off as a god, so that they try to get us to serve them and bow before them. Any god or any extraterrestrial that comes to your planet and try to get you to bow before them or worship them is a disagreeable, right? And they're not a good disagreeable, because you got, like me, I can be disagreeable. I was born disagreeable, but I gained the benevolent side. And I mostly lean to my benevolent side, unless you, unless you want to get it popping. You know what I'm saying? We can get it cracking. If you want to get it cracking, that ain't no problem. You know what I'm saying? We can get it cracking, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Straight crack it up out this joint. You know, it smell like butt crack out this joint, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We kept it clean though, YouTube. What else I want to say? Yeah, so anybody that's coming, any extraterrestrial that's coming, they got more technology than you. By galactic law, they can't take advantage of you without you agreeing to it. Without you got a choice. You got a choice to be with these people or not, to make a deal with Enlil or not. You got a choice. You don't have to make the deal with him. Now, his clause is, if you don't make a deal with me and believe in my Jesus and my God and my son of God, and you going to hell. Or if the Muslims say that if you don't get down with Allah, and Allah is the only way, and you going to hell, you getting cast the under darkness on the day of judgment. Everybody's got the philosophy to scare you into getting down with them, and they all work for disagreeables, energy, man, disagreeable energy. This is not by force. This is by choice of who. And I think you should choose to be your own God. Like we told you, you niggas are God. Why you get mad at me for telling you God? And that you got your own responsibility to take care of your own planet. Not some God coming back from outer space to save you. Ain't nobody gonna help you. If anything, if you asking for help for somebody, they gonna take advantage of you just because you asking for help. If ascended beings come here and you asking for help, they gonna take advantage of you just because you ask for help. Just because they can. We ain't taking no more shit off for nobody coming to our planet talking about they because they got to look. We would have if y'all wasn't, if the reptilians wasn't here trying to hold us back, we would already be up to speed on a lot of this technology. A lot of the stuff we got now. A lot of the stuff the Anunnakis were using thousands of millions of years ago, we got now, like the laptop, like the speakers, like a lot of the phone, the cell phone. We got a lot of this technology now. So we are advancing. But what we're asking is the influence of these off-world beings. We don't want that influence no more. And we don't want no more contracts with you. We don't gotta sign no contracts with you. And all we want to do, we don't want to do no more business with you, really. All we want to do is we'll do business with you, but we're gonna sell our minerals to you at our price, at what we say. And we don't want to sign no more bad deals with y'all. We got gold, diamonds, and the center of your planet is a huge crystal city. It's a huge deposits of crystals, stones that are a galactic or mineral, water, several which your sun produced. Your sun produced the water on your planet. Just think about it. So we don't want no more off-world beings coming to stand over us and tell us we got to worship them and to get into going into the galaxy. Nah, nigga, we already in heaven. Why we got to worship you to get in heaven when the planet is already sitting in heaven? Heaven is space, and no such thing as space really, because space is always filled with something, dark matter, some kind of gas. But it's time we, as gods, you are God. It's written in you gods. It's time for you to accept your responsibility and take over your planet. Help the children that follow us, that lose their mother. Help that lose their father. Help the old people as they transition to the next dimension. As gods, that's our responsibility. So I seen a new, when I was sitting in the meeting, I seen a new smiling at me, and he was proud that he said, y'all growing up, y'all ready to take responsibility for what y'all actions and y'all in the planet. Y'all ready to take responsibility as a whole. Now, and I'm talking about everybody, white, black, dog, cat, rat, every being that breathes on the planet is a part of our planet. And we all got to play a part. Right? So that's what it's about, man. And we're going to come back with part 2 to keep on going into the story of what happened. But like I say, most of the stuff we already got out on the Galactic Family of Life tape series. We got the story of the gold story where Inky was stealing the gold. And he created the helicopter and the submarine and all that. That's in your Bible. Job don't get picked up in a whale. Whale can't swallow nobody for 3 days and go into the water. He got picked up by a submarine that looks like a whale. Because the Anunnakis had this technology, and they were the Yahwehs of your Bible that were picking their prophets up. They had prophets that were promoting their doctrine, promoting their contracts. These prophets, another name for them really is a salesman. They go around and promote the contract, and they tell you and warn you, you don't sign. You're going to go to hell. You don't sign this deal. It's part of their tactic to get you to sign. Like you go, they ain't no different. A prophet or a preacher ain't no different as a car salesman at a damn car dealership trying to sell you a car, and got to get you lock you in a contract where you're gonna be paying them a note 10 times more than what the car worth. That's the same thing that's happening to us. We sign deals with gods and to get specific powers or technology that they got, and they never turned it over to us. We got played. We got played, man. The Black Kilt, I got a book on that, Lady Al. Shout out Lady Al, man. you know. Let's see. A shout out Adwin Netter. Shout out my brother, the 11th elder apart, yeah. For the donation, brother. Man, we was trying to really, and like I said, this class ain't for everybody. Like somebody, it's really but like a newcomers class to break down what was happening. Now, I know a lot of my old heads might have heard some different details that were details because I'm going back off my memory because I was there. All of y'all really was there. All of y'all really was there. All of us were born at the same time. All of us were created simultaneously. Everybody were created simultaneously. That's what I came to the conclusion. So we all around the same age. We all was created simultaneously. We all was in the beginning, at least us, our family. I know I'm only speaking for our family, right? And when I say our family, I'm talking about from the Anunnakis all the way down to the Natharus at this point. We here now because we left off as the Natharus. So we here now as the Natharus. We here as our Tamarayan counterparts. We reincarnated again, and we here to make this right. We here to make this right because we messed up. Some people are not like my father during that time, Osiris. The reason why Satuk came after him is because he was teaching the humans. Same thing that I'm doing now. And Satuk, I ended up losing the battle to him because I was too young, and I wandered off into the Sahara Desert. That's why it's called the Sahara, Haru. And it's a vortex in the Sahara Desert where I actually disappeared for a certain amount of years, while I was taken to another taken by the Greys to protect me from Satuk, because Satuk sent people out to kill me to make sure that I wasn't gonna ever come back to try to rule again. So I disappeared and went to another planet for a while, where I was groomed and screwed, then and taught by Creel. Creel them took me to their old home galaxy and hid me out. And that's where I was hiding at for a while before I came back to Earth to take the throne back. But the whole beef was because my father, Osiris, Saru, started teaching humans the knowledge, so they wouldn't need a God no more. See, once Adam and Eve ate off that tree, they gained the knowledge that God had, so they didn't need God no more. So God got mad and kicked them out. So when beings come and they got knowledge and they don't want to give it to you, so you gonna have to, so a being they want to control you and they got a certain amount of knowledge, they'll keep that knowledge to themselves and they'll just dangle it on the string in front of you and never teach you truly what they know, everything they know. So they can stay in control of you. But a being like me, I'm gonna teach you anything that I know, so you can be just like me, or if not even better. A lot of y'all are way smarter than me, right? But they picked me as the avatar just because I'll be able to break it down to where you'll get it at this point. Y'all should have it at this point. A lot of people, a lot of this stuff the master teacher already taught, but the way we teaching it, it's like the second measure to hope that in hopes that you'll get it. In hopes that you'll get it, the message, and be free. The truth will make you free. A lot of people that have been with us, they free now from religious and this fear of us, this fear spell to trap us here, to keep us under some kind of religion, and we got to worship this God or we got to believe in this. And I always knew that shit was something funny about it. I always knew it was something funny about it. It just didn't make sense to me. Why would God have to send his son if he got all power? Just all that stuff just didn't make sense to me, man. It was always a loose end in it. And then come to find out it's over 100,000 loose ends in the Bible. It's over 100,000 discrepancies. You feel me? Yeah, Chris Angel, yeah. Chris Angel, think about it. Christ, the angel. They're trying to make him like the second. He's one of them second comings of Christ. They're trying to make him like the Jesus. Sorry. Yeah, because we named it, we started naming planets after the royalty of the leaders. That's what we called it. And it actually was a throne planet to Anu's mother. It was a planet where she had her stuff set up. We'll break that down. You wait for her. Okay, all right. What's going on, man? What's going on? My people's up in this joint. We here, Elder. Yeah, so man, like we're gonna probably do another part to this because there's more to it. I'm gonna get down and breaking down the intricate parts of it, of what's still going on now. But some of these Anunnakis were coming down. They mentioned it in Genesis chapter 6, where they say there was more than Anunnakis, other species too. I mean, it was like several different species in this Anunnaki. They could be classified as Anunnaki. So several species were coming down in Genesis chapter 6 and mixing with humans as well, like reptilians, nomos, like the Anunnakis, like we explained. So a lot of us are Anunnakis. Us Sabines have Anunnaki genetics from coming down from the newborns, the ones that when they was mixing with the Bantu. So we have Anunnaki genetics. So my Sabian saying, oh, we ain't Anunnakis. Yeah, you got Anunnaki. Everybody, all you niggas got Anunnaki genetics. Because if you got the Sands man in you, the Sands man, the Anunnakis use their genetics to upgrade them. The Twa man has got Sands man DNA, so that makes them have Anunnaki DNA. And then come after that, later on, when the Bantu people from the Sands people and the Twa man mixing, the Anunnakis came down and started mixing in with the Bantu people and created the new bonds. The niggas would had the bigger features, bigger cheekbones, bigger head, bigger nose, bigger eyes. And then those people mixed with Hindus, and that from later on from the generations, you get the Sabines. So Sabines got in, so all my Sabines stop saying that you don't got no Anunnaki DNA. All you niggas got Anunnaki DNA. Now we understand, we already broke down the beef that we got with these people, right? We already broke down the beef. So we're gonna break it down a little bit more on another tape. So yeah, that's what we're gonna say. And then the holy tablets, like I say, they say, oh, it's outdated. The holy tablet is not outdated for a newcomer. So keep that in mind. And the being that said that, he a newcomer. He a baby still. Even though he been there since all his life, he's still a newcomer. Because as key as it takes you to take you to a certain age before you start really grasping what's going on, man. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate that, brother. Hey, don't do the super chat. I just seen it. Okay. Shout out to brother Eling Jones for the super chat. Yeah, don't do super chat. Just get your brother on Cash App, man. Or PayPal, man. Like I say, we still got those 8 books. If you want to get those eight books for $45 donation, send it to the email or PayPal and leave your emails in the link. Be sure to leave your emails in the link so we can send you all 8 books PDF form to your email. So you don't want to miss that, because we got a book. We actually break down all this stuff that we talk about, and we actually break down the Netars, Natharu, the first level of them in the Orion group book, because the Orion group are the Netarus. We migrated from a planet in that Orion's belt. We already broke that down in the Orion group book. So if you got that book, you already know what time it is. Man, we about to get up out of here, man. We spent we had 2 hours, almost at 2 hours. So we'll get out of here, man. We're gonna be back tomorrow. Now I ain't gonna say that. I'm just gonna come back because every time I say I'm gonna come back, it seems like these beings are sitting around listening and they trying to, hey, we gotta distract him, man. He moving too fast. He's telling them too much information. He's overloading them. Something, you know what I'm saying? So we gotta keep rolling, baby, right on out. And we're gonna finish the Native American heritage classes. We just have to let the iron cool off a little bit, man, because we was getting flagged for everything, and we had to adjust the we losing pretty much no profanity really. You know what I'm saying? We ain't using profanity no more because they're flagging us for all the profanity. So we just we ain't gonna be talking too many profanity no more. Especially on this stuff too, because a lot of kids watch it. So and some people really get offended, and the energy, they consider that as negative energy. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta, like I say, I can do it either way. I got both sides of the field. I can do it. I can be completely. I can be all the way benevolent for you, or I can be all the way disagreeable for you. You know what I'm saying? It depends. So I got. That's why I was sent as a judge with my uncle Tahuti, the Angel Murdoch, Michael. I'm one of the 7 judges that's sent here to make a call on this. And right now we putting Enlil up for indictment based on the crimes committed. And it's gonna be several people that are gonna be put up after him. Now Inky saved his behind, and Mother Ninty saved their own behind by turning state to get their kind cut. They turn galactic on Enlil. So you want to go check out that tape we put out yesterday called Enlil and Galactic Acquit. Enlil get his indictment. Yeah, we gotta walk it like you talk it, baby. That's right. Shout out to my brother Xavier, man. Shout out to brother Sunrise in the building. We out, man. We're gonna drop the mic on that. Peace. Islam, Hotel. Divine love, Ashud, throughout the boundless universe to all. We love you all.